Okay, so this is the final daf of Sanhedrin. So we're in Sanhedrin 113. I'm only going to do Amud Aleph in this video, and this is the daf for Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. And I want to point out that this is a significant milestone, I believe, for Ava, or this region of Missouri. I'm not sure that anybody else in this region has studied the Gemara. I'm not sure if anybody else in this region has ever had, if an entire Talmud Bavli has ever been in this region. So I don't know if a Sefer Torah has ever been in this region. So, you know, we're bringing Torah in. We're making that tikkun. And ultimately, you know, the city of Ava is named after the city in 2 Kings 17, Ava, which was a Babylonian city of converts, as a matter of fact. They were relocated into the land of Israel, and they became known as the lion converts, or, you know, as a converts more or less, but they're considered like the lion converts because there were lions in the land that harassed them, and they requested that the Assyrians send back the priest to teach them how to study Torah. So here we are in Ava, or Ava. And so this is a significant milestone because, again, I don't believe that the study of the Gemara has reached this area of the world, and I'm sure that the Rebbe would be very proud. So here we go, Daf 113, Amud Aleph. The Gemara challenges, let him redeem that which was purchased with second tithe money and became richly impure. As we learned in a Mishnah, Maaser Sheni 3:10, an item that is purchased with second tithe money and that became richly impure shall be redeemed. The Gemara answers, the Mishnah is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who says, an item that is purchased with second tithe money and that became richly impure shall be buried, and it may no longer be redeemed. The Gemara asked, if so, and the Mishnah is referring to an item purchased with second tithe money that became richly impure, why did the Mishnah cite this halakha specifically in the case of an idolatrous city? The same would hold true even in the cities in general, as well as in Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. The halakha there too is that the item is buried. Rather, actually, the case in the Mishnah is with regard to pure second tithe produce of an idolatrous city that was taken into Jerusalem, and it is a case where the walls of Jerusalem then fell. And this halakha is in accordance with the opinion of Rava. As Rava says, the capacity of the wall of Jerusalem to enable one to partake of second tithe produce is by Torah law. By contrast, the capacity of the wall of Jerusalem to admit second tithe produce, in the sense that once it enters Jerusalem, the produce assumes the status of the property of the Most High, may no longer be redeemed, is by rabbinic law. In the case where the sages issue the decree that entry into Jerusalem admits the produce is where the wall is intact. However, in a case where the wall is not intact, no, the sages did not issue a decree, and the second tithe remains the spoils of the idolatrous city. The Gemara teaches sacred scrolls must be interred. The Gemara comments the halakha cited in the Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, as it is taught in a Braita that Rabbi Eliezer says, any city in which there is even one Mezuzah is not rendered an idolatrous city, as it is stated, and you shall burn it with fire, both the city and all its spoils entirely for the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 13:17. In a city where there is a Mezuzah, it is not possible to burn all its spoils, as it is written, you shall not do so to the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 12:4. From which it is derived that it is prohibited to destroy any item upon which the name of God appears. The Mishnah teaches that Rabbi Shimon says, the Holy One, blessed be he, says, if you implement judgment on an idolatrous city, ascribe you credit as though you have sacrificed an entirely burnt offering before me. And Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yoshi HaGalili disagree as to whether one may convert the ruins of the idolatrous city into gardens and orchards. The Gemara posits, let us say that it is with regard to the statement that Rabbi Avin says that Rabbi Eliah says that these Tanaim disagree, as Rabbi Avin says that Rabbi Eliah says, anywhere that you find a generalization formulated as a positive mitzvah, followed by a detail formulated by a prohibition, one does not deduce from it that the generalization includes only the detail based on the Hermetic principle of generalization in a detail. Rather, one interprets them as two independent halachot, and that is bichlal uprat. So generalization in a detail. Okay. On that basis, that the dispute is that one sage, Rabbi Yoshi Haglili, is of the opinion that the ruling is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Avin, and one sage, Rabbi Akiva, is of the opinion that the ruling is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Avin. Rabbi Yoshi Haglili holds that the positive mitzvah, quote, that it shall be a heap forever, in the succeeding prohibition, quote, it shall not be built again, Deuteronomy 13:17, are independent mitzvot. The result is that the city must remain a heap and may not be converted into gardens and orchards. Rabbi Akiva employs the Hermetic principle and deduces that the generalization, quote, and it shall be a heap forever, means only that it shall not be built again. But converting the ruins of the idolatrous city into gardens and orchards is permitted. That sounds very mystical. Anyway, the Gemara rejects this. No, everyone is of the opinion that the ruling is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Avin, and here they disagree about this. One sage, Rabbi Yoshi Haglili, holds that the term again indicates that it is entirely prohibited to rebuild it at all. And one sage, Rabbi Akiva, holds that the term again indicates that it is not built to be as it was, but it may be converted into gardens and orchards. And that word is od. So Aleph, Vav, Dalet. The sages taught in Braita, in a case where there were trees in the city, if they are detached from the ground, they are forbidden and must be burned as the spoils of an idolatrous city. If they are attached to the ground, they are permitted. That is, they are not destroyed. By contrast, trees of another city, whether detached or attached, are forbidden. The Gemara asks, to what is the Braita referring with the phrase, another city? Rav Hista says the reference is to Jericho, as it is written, quote, and the city shall be devoted, it and all that is in it, to the Lord. Quote, and Joshua charged them at that time by oath, saying, cursed be the man before the Lord that raises up to build the city, Jericho. He shall lay its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. Joshua 6:17 and verse 26. It is taught in a Braita that this includes a prohibition not to build Jericho even after changing its name to the name of another city, and not to build another city after giving it the name of Jericho, as it is written, Hiel the Bethelite built Jericho with Abiram his firstborn, he laid its foundation, and with his young son Seguv set up its gates. 1 Kings 16:34. It is taught in a Braita, from the death of Abiram, his firstborn, the wicked, it was not incumbent upon him to learn not to build Jericho, as Abiram's death could be attributed to chance. But with the death of Seguv, his young son, it was incumbent upon him to learn that it was due to Joshua's curse that they died. The Gemara asks, what did Abiram and Seguv do that they are characterized as wicked? And what is the Braita saying? The Gemara answers that this is what the Braita is saying. From the death of Abiram, his firstborn, that wicked man, Hiel, should have learned about the cause of the death of Seguv, his young son, by inference from that which is stated, quote, with Abiram, his firstborn. And I do not know that Seguv was his young son. Rather, what is the meaning when the verse states his young son Seguv? It teaches that he gradually buried all his sons from Abiram through Seguv, and he should have suspected that Joshua's curse caused the deaths. Ahav was Hiel's close friend and groomsman. He and Elijah came to inquire about Hiel's welfare in the house of mourning, Beit Tamyah. Hiel sat and said, perhaps when Joshua cursed, this is what he cursed, not to build Jericho even after changing its name to the name of another city, and not to build another city after giving it the name of Jericho. Elijah said to him, yes, that is the curse. Ahav said to Elijah, now the curse of Moses is not fulfilled, as it is written, and you go astray and worship other gods. And it is written, Then the Lord's anger will flare against you, and he will close the heavens, and there will be no rain. Deuteronomy 11:16-17. And that man, referring to himself, established an object of idol worship on each and every furrow in the kingdom of Israel, and the rain is so plentiful that it does not allow him to go and worship it. Will the curse of his student, Joshua, be fulfilled? The verse relates Elijah's reaction. Miyad, immediately, quote, and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said to Ahab, as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew or rain these years, but according to my word. 1 Kings 17, verse 1. Elijah prayed for mercy, and they gave him the key to rainfall, enabling him to dictate when it would rain. And he arose and went. It is written about Elijah, quote, and the word of the Lord came to him, saying, go from here and turn eastward and hide yourself by Wadi Cherit. And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning. 1 Kings 17, 2-3, and verse 6. The Gemara asks, from where did they bring him bread and meat? Rabbi Yehuda says that Rav says they brought it from the slaughterhouse of Ahav. And it is written, quote, and it came to pass after some days that the wadi dried up because there was no rain in the land. 1 Kings 17, verse 7. Since God saw that there is suffering in the world, and Elijah was insensitive to it, it is written, quote, and the word of the Lord came to him, saying, arise, go to Zarephath. 1 Kings 17, 8-9, to initiate a chain of events that would lead Elijah to return the key to rainfall back to God. It is written, and it came to pass after these matters that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, became sick. 1 Kings 17:17. Elijah prayed for mercy, for God to give him the key to the resurrection of the dead. They said to him from heaven, 3 keys were not typically passed to an agent: the key to a woman in childbirth, the key to rainfall, and the key to the resurrection of the dead. You already have the key to rainfall. Do you also request the key to the resurrection of the dead? People will say 2 keys are in the possession of the student of the one key of the student, and 1 key is in the possession of the master, meaning God. Bring me this key to rainfall and take this key to the resurrection of the dead. Due to Elijah's request, he was forced to revoke his oath, as it is written, go appear before Ahab, and I will give you rain. 1 Kings 18, verse 1. A certain Galilean taught before Rav Chisda, there is a parable for the actions of Elijah. To what is this matter comparable? It is comparable to a man who slammed his door and lost his key. Elijah first prevented the rain from falling, and then no longer had possession of the key to enable it to fall again. Rabbi Yoshi of Tzipori taught, Father Elijah, a deferential and affectionate characterization for Elijah the prophet. And now, that's the end of 13a, so I'm going to save 13b, or bait, for the Siyum. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with me all this time. If you missed it, there is a playlist for the Tosefta for Sanhedrin from whenever I started making videos, which was back at the beginning of this year. So if you wanted to follow along with that, you could. But yeah, thanks again for following this long. It's a real accomplishment to get through Sanhedrin if you were able to do it from all the beginning, even though I don't have videos all the way from the beginning. Sanhedrin is so large that it's nearly 1/3 of the year to get through one daf a day. So again, thanks for watching.